You loved Sam Howell last night.
Well, I thought, first of all, it did feel like there was some buzz going on, which was strange. And I think there was two reasons. One, we got to see Zay Flowers, a rookie on Baltimore, a wide receiver. It's exciting. And Sam Howell, it's the first time, I think, nationally, everyone got to see him after hearing all this positive buzz in camp. And then what did he do? He just completely kind of dominated the game. He's 19 for 25, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Looked completely poised. He had one play where the pass rush got on top of him. He scrambled out and had a long pass. You know, I understand Terry McLaurin got hurt a little bit.
Yeah, but X-rays are negative. You
could see the real talent he's throwing to. You know that they have a running game normally. There's reasons to be excited about this offense. I mean, it's a low bar. I'm not saying that they're Kansas City Chiefs, but I think if I'm a Commanders fan, first of all, I'm so happy that Daniel Snyder was not there. Second of all, I'm happy. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a young quarterback. At least there's a chance here.
Yeah, well, I mean, new owner, similar awkwardness and awkwardness. The owner, we'll get to that in a minute. A major gaffe that happened with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in the booth. But the thing is here's the thing about Sam Howell. Yesterday, the Ravens were barely playing any of their starters, especially on the defensive side. He was actually taking these risks. I can't believe I'm breaking this down. I should not even give Perloff this kind of satisfaction.
Can you say that the Ravens' backups are probably awesome?
No,
so go ahead.
Okay, but he was taking these like crazy risks at times on throws. It seemed crazy to me. And throwing into these tight windows that if that had been the first string of the Ravens, those likely would have been picks. So I can't go out there and say, oh, I think Sam Howell's going to be a thing. If you had told me that was Taylor Heineke, I would have believed you. They looked exactly the same. And Heineke is a backup.
You're being heightist. This is clearly
I'm not a heightist.
You're saying a quarterback that a short guy can't be good. Our buddy Jim Nagy, Senior Bowl director, put it really well. He said, I think that the NFL overthought this guy. There's no way he should have been a 5th-round pick. Because he was when you looked at a way too early mock draft, he was the number 2 overall pick. He was basically what Drake May is now. Everybody loves Sam Howell. His numbers were huge in North Carolina. Yeah. Then he just measured a little shorter than we thought. How many times is the NFL going to overrate height for a quarterback? That's the only reason he fell.
Well, I give a little bit to height.
Because your quarterback in Buffalo is so tall.
Well, but I'm a little heightist. All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm getting
because,
that.
Sorry, Xander.
Maggie, thanks.
It's not personal. Not my personal life. Maybe not in my personal life. I'm not a heightist. But when it comes to quarterbacks, maybe I am a bit of a heightist because I look at Bryce Young, who's smaller. I look at, listen, Russell Wilson is amazing, but there are some deficiencies that he has. I think it's because of the height. I do think that, Kyler Murray is, he's so quick and shifty and fast. He maybe can make up for some things, but I'm not rushing to, have my quarterback be 5'10". I don't love that in a quarterback.
Okay, listen.
I digress.
Sam Howell's 6'1".
Oh, okay. Then he's fine.
Yeah, and what is Jalen Hurts? I think he's 6'2", 6'1 and a half. He's listed at 6. Jalen Hurts is 6'1". Patrick Mahomes is 6'2". I don't think these are not tall quarterbacks. They're not Justin Herbert, and I think you'd be fine. Tua is tiny, and he led the most efficient offense in the league. I don't think height matters anymore, but I still think old school scouts and Maggie Gray overestimated. They want the prototype.
We're at the bar together.
You're in the movie
beers.
You're in the movie Moneyball. You're one of the old scouts who doesn't get it.
Yeah, there's 100 feet of crap than us.
What is it to you that made Sam Howell look like Taylor Heineke? It's the height.
It actually, I just meant that as a backup. He looked to me like he was a backup. And
so why?
I thought that some of the throws that he was making were, again, like he got a little lucky, I thought, in some of those throws.
Yeah, obviously he's not going to complete 90% of his passes.
No. And so I'm not, although I do like the idea of the Commanders maybe crashing the party a little bit in the NFC East. I think the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys are far and away the 2 best teams. I'm not totally sold on the New York Giants all of a sudden taking a step forward, and I kind of like that the Commanders could be challenging here. Listen, it's the NFC.
You just said Sam Howell is basically a backup level guy. How are they going to challenge 2 of the better teams in the whole NFC?
Okay, well, I watched Terry McLaurin, even though he did hurt his toe.
Great.
I'm watching Jahan Dotson, who's awesome. I'm watching Brian Robinson, who's awesome as running back, and they have Gibson as well. And I'm looking at here's my big thing about why I think that Washington's going to be interesting. Their defense is so good on paper, but they've never been able to really put it together for a full season where the defense is the thing from week 1 to week 17. You have Chase Young, who's now without a contract next year. This is a former defensive rookie of the year. I know we're on in Ohio. Of course, the Ohio State fans know exactly how talented he is. I think Chase Young in a contract year, like, look out. This could be like defensive player of the year type stuff that he's battling with Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa and those guys for defensive player of the year.
Chase Young.
Yes.
Chase Young, like
Chase
medium
Young,
effort Chase Young.
Motivated because he doesn't have a contract because the team didn't pick up the fifth-year option. That's a major wake-up call to a young player. He's just been hurt a little bit. I think
the guy has 9 sacks in 3 seasons.
Just wait.
Defensive player of the year.
I think so. I'm getting long odds on it, too, which I like.
I don't think they have odds on it.
No, I think he's in there. But anyway,
Chase Young, really?
I think this is a big breakout season for him.
But even so, if the quarterback's not good, they're not going to challenge. I mean,
okay, but that's...
Philly's winning 11 games and Dallas is winning 11. How is Washington going to challenge that?
Well, this is the 49ers thing, right? You have a great defense. That means you're going to be in every game. That's how the Ravens still made the playoffs last year, even though Lamar missed the last 5 games. If your defense is that good, all you need is Sam Howell not to mess it up, and you could be right there.
I mean, you're comparing to the 49ers defense?
Listen,
I think
Washington
Washington has a very good defense.
Was in a great pass rush.
Yeah, but I would argue they have the 4th best defense, arguably, in that division.
It could be capable of being higher.
I mean, the Eagles are stacked on defense.
Yes, they are.
The Cowboys have like 9 Pro Bowlers on defense.
Yeah, and added
Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
And the Giants are really good at defense,
although added Stephon Gilmore a little bit late in his career.
Okay, and the Giants Giants, all they have is defense and Saquon Barkley.
Well, Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, sure.
Yeah, and Thibodeau's about to blow up. He's your guy. You love Kayvon Thibodeau.
I do, but I still love Chase Young in a motivated year.
Yeah, but all those guys, anyway, my point is they're going to need to be in this conversation. They are going to need Sam Howell to look like a first-round pick, not like Taylor Heineke. And it's funny that you're higher on the team, but I'm higher on the quarterback.
Yeah.
I just think right now that's a really tough division. Probably easily the best division in the NFC, which is not saying that much. But, you think the Giants are taking a step back, by the way?
I just don't think it's a given that they're going forward. They won a lot of lucky games last year, 1-score games. I mean, listen, they weren't expected to do a lot. So I thought some of that was maybe, good coaching, sure.
Yeah.
But I think some of it got a couple lucky breaks.
Weak schedule, too.
And now I'm not sure it's all linear here.
Although I'm getting caught up in a little bit. There's a lot of Sam Howell buzz. There's just as much Daniel Jones buzz.
Yep.
Jones looks great. Darren Waller looks great. So to me, the Giants...
Jalen Hyatt, remember they drafted from Tennessee?
Yeah, the Giants and Commanders both feel like they're hovering around 500. Whereas I can't see a way that the Eagles and Cowboys fall below that. So I do think, I see a lot of positive signs in Washington. I think they're just pinned in a little bit by those elite teams. Where you're saying they could crash the party? Or at least make some noise.
Make it interesting.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to watch them a lot closer because I never really considered that.
Also, for all the nonsense about Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy and the story from last week about, or was it 2 weeks ago, I guess?
Oh, now it's like a month ago, right? How players were complaining about Bieniemy?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's preseason. I don't lose my head over that stuff. Perloff loves it. But listen, maybe they needed that kick in the butt. Maybe they needed someone to be a little harder on them.
The guy I love, by the way, is not Chase Young at all. Montez Sweat on the other side.
So good.
Everyone says he's completely unblockable all spring training, but they always find the banana peel, this team. I think it trickles down from ownership, or the old ownership, where there seems to be some dysfunction where as much talent as you put together on that roster, it never really reaches its potential. Maybe that'll change now. Yeah,
it's something our boss calls loser energy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it's fair. And I think it fit that franchise for a long time because their owner behaves like a loser. 855 used to, their old owner. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, so you can let us know your thoughts if you have them on the NFC East and who you think is going to emerge. I know we got a lot of Cowboys fans listening. Of course, Perloff's Eagles fly. Anyone want to stick up for the Giants on the other side of the glass? All right, then.
No. Okay. I know Chris in Texas can call in about 30 seconds to talk about how the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl again.
I know.
I think the Giants have a pretty good coach, so that's one thing. Maybe. Am I a sucker for see the Matt Nagy of this situation where he has a great first year?
I'm going to hold off on that.